Hey everyone, welcome to your issues poster project. This is one of my favorite projects because we begin to introduce basic graphic design principles using image and text and learning about the importance of choosing a typeface. So you begin to work with type with this project and are learning how to really communicate not only through words but images and combining words and images to create an impact. So I wanted to show you some past student examples and sort of introduce the other examples that I'm giving you in this assignment. So I've done different iterations of this project in the past, and one of them, the sort of theme was climate change awareness, and the student had to come up with a poster that would communicate, their whether they believe climate change or wanted to raise awareness about the issue, and also make it specific to McDaniel. So similar to what you are going to do in that you are considering your audience, which is the McDaniel community. So you want to connect with them in some way through both imagery and text. And this is a great example. Lauren Beckyard, which her poster "Litter is unarousing," which is a play on words for rouser, because there was a ton of trash around Rouser Hall. And then the sort of keep your trash off the ground. So great use of hierarchy, great use of text, great use of color. Her illustration shows a lot of time and effort. And the only suggestion I had was that in the background image, which I can tell that that's Rouser, but if we saw like a trash can or something, but we do get this hint of like flowers, which does kind of speak for itself in terms of there's nice landscaping there, don't trash it. And then in this next example, similar color scheme to the previous one. This student chose to work with a horizontal orientation called landscape orientation, which sort of the composition sort of limited the size of his type. So it was really hard to read the message from far away. And remember that you want to use you want your poster to kind of shout your message. And this one doesn't necessarily do that because the type is kind of small, even though it's a well-considered composition. Great job with the drawing and the color scheme as well, being complementary. Complementary color schemes can be very jarring and can sort of add this psychology of something clashing. Another complementary color scheme, great illustration. Also, the student explored expressive type in the use of drown. And you can see change is emphasized in italics. I don't think it necessarily needs to be italicized, but I like that she was sort of thinking about how she could express drowning to hint at water. Also has this nice transparency that it seems like the water is rising over McDaniel Hall. So really well considered composition. And in this last example, this student used a background image in Baltimore, which I said was okay given the content of her poster. Kind of simplistic illustration, but still effective. You should be thinking about your expression in the illustration, and also beginning to lay out the text nicely, seems organized. Originally, this text was much smaller and it was harder to read. I believe it was also the same color, so changing the color so that there's contrast and also a shift in the scale, the size, will help to better communicate your idea. And let me show you this one, which I skipped over, which has a really nice composition. to it. The text, I believe, could be a little larger. Put your junk in the trash hole, which has a sense of humor to it. Let me escape out of here so I can sort of diagram this composition out. But we have a diagonal line here, and we have this sort of gaze of his eye going up. So you have this vroom, vroom, that follows his shoulder. So a very dynamic, open composition. Also his drawing, I don't know if I can zoom in, but his drawing is incredibly detailed. He told me that he spent at least 20 hours doing this drawing, and I believe it. Really impressive craftsmanship. And the sort of blue color scheme that is very calming. So I don't necessarily attribute that to trash, or like it doesn't make me that concerned because I'm so calm by the blue. So something to think about there. I also give you some examples from a show that I saw called Too Fast to Live, Too Young to Die at the Cranbrook Art Museum, which was about punk graphics, so posters from bands in the 70s, 80s. And I give you two examples, two photos that I took of two of the many, many, many well-designed posters that were there. But that's something else that you can look to for inspiration is, just how posters utilized in different industries are laid out and how they communicate. And also, again, the propaganda posters, which I give you a link to a video that kind of goes over 10 of the most successful or most well-known propaganda posters that there are. All right, good luck with your poster project, and I'm really looking forward to learning about all of the issues that you all are concerned about. Thanks, everybody.